Welcome to Radiant Shanti. If you were just with us, we are recording and doing the practice again because the sound apparently was not working. So I apologize. I hope that you were able to follow along visually. And we're going to go through the key elements of the practice again. So thank you for joining us. Qigong is two words in Chinese that mean qi, life energy, this vital force that comes from the world and within us, and gong, which means skill. Qigong, therefore, is skill moving and cultivating this qi energy. When you have greater qi, you will feel less stressed, you'll be more energized, and you'll have better immunity. We have so much going on in the planet right now that make us vulnerable physically and emotionally. And when you become very skilled at Qigong, it's an incredible way to be able to handle all of those physical and emotional stresses. We're going to begin by really connecting to the earth energy. Take your feet and lift your toes up. You're going to go ahead and place down each toe if you can. Some of your toes might have to move together, but you really want to focus on placing all 10 toes on the ground. Wiggle them around, lift them up, place them down. Become very aware of your feet. We connect to energy all around us, but in particular from our feet to earth energy and from the sky. So we're going to focus first on the feet. Whenever you're doing Qigong, you want to be mindful of this connection. So we've got our toes. Now move to the balls of your feet. You can wiggle around any way you want to really notice and take in the balls of your feet. Move inside and out. Notice how the energy there. And now shift back to your heels, the inside and outside. Just pay attention to those. Rock back and forth. Now place down all 10 toes. Make sure that you have the inside and outside of the balls of your feet connecting with the earth. And then your heels, the insides and outsides of your heels. That is 9 points of contact on each foot. 5 toes, inside and outside of the balls of your feet and inside and outside of your heels. Place a little bit more weight in the heel. You want all 9 points down, but a little bit more weight in the heel protects your spine. Now tune into the underside of your feet, right behind the balls of your feet, kind of in the center. That is a very important acupressure point. And that connects to the earth. It's kidney 1. And the kidneys are responsible for this Jing essence, life force energy. So just tune in. And now visualize that you're on this massive ball, which you are. You're on the ball of the earth, this incredibly wonderful earth that we have. And its gravity is pulling you down. And you're bringing in energy through this kidney 1 point, through the entire foot, drawing energy from the earth up. So just notice this movement. You can give it a color. Earth energy, the color we usually have is a bright, vibrant yellow, like a daffodil, but any color that comes to you is fine. All right, we're going to move from there to the ankles and the bones in the legs, the knees, your thighs and pelvis. So just notice all those bones within you. Just picture them. And now picture the muscles draping over these stacked bones. So your ankle stacks over your foot. The knee stacks over the ankle with a light bend. You don't want, if you need a bigger bend, that's okay, but you don't want your knees locked and straight. So a nice light bend. tuning into that, and then really feeling the thigh bones stacked on top and the hips, the pelvis on top of there. So just stand grounded in this energy, checking the 9 points of your feet, moving up your legs. The muscles are relaxed. And this is this yin-yang concept in Qigong, where we have the strength, the yang motion, right? Our muscles will move us, but we want them yin. We want this movement to be relaxed. The bones are also this very yin energy, the structure, the bone marrow, the fluid within them, the substance of your body. Notice that energetic. And now we're going to move to the spine. So focusing, picturing your vertebrae like beads on a string or a pearl necklace, where you're separating, creating as much space between each bead as you can, visualizing moving up the entire spine, front and back. Remember, our spine isn't one-dimensional. It's all around us. You can even picture the sides of your spine elongating up. And we want to, this upward movement is in opposition to the downward movement. Our lower body moves down. Imagine a weight, if you will, almost from the perineum, weighting you down, moving heavy to the ground. And then the spine is elongating up. So you take your hands in front just for visual. Imagine you're pressing down on a table and lengthening up from there. And then bring your hands to your side. So the lower body moves down, the upper body lifts up. Just have that nice opposition to lengthen and elongate. And as you move up the spine, you come to the shoulders and the shoulder blades, and those are weighting down. Don't like force them down or pay too much attention, but just notice this, they're heavy and moving down. Then you come to the neck. The neck is part of the spine, elongating up. You don't want your chin pressing down or reaching back. You want a nice, just a beautiful hint of a tuck in your chin. That will help keep the vertebrae nice and straight in the back. And then the top of the head is also reaching up. Bring your fingers to the tops of your ears. Move them in a line to the top of your head. Where they meet is a really important point at the top of your head called the Baihui point. And from here, just as we drew energy in from the earth, from our feet, we're going to draw energy in from the heavens through our head. So just filling up from the top of your head. So tune in and just draw in this energy. You can actually draw this energy all the way down to your feet and imagine it filling your body up like a pitcher of water from the bottom up. For some of you, this visualization of energy and imagination will be very natural. For other people, you're going to be like my husband and you're going to say, I don't get it. What are you asking me to do? What I'd like you to do is just picture energy, a color, a light, bright white light streaming into the top of your head. And just picture that light coming in. That light is an image for the energy that is always coming in. Whether you see it and feel it or not, it's always there. We're just trying to create this awareness of it. So tune into the energy filling you up. This is your foundational posture. Whenever you do any of the moves, it is from this stacking of the bones, this pressing down and lifting up, connecting to earth energy and heavenly or sky energy, that is going to move you through the practice. Just like the earth is on its axis, right? We have our own axis. Everything in Qigong comes from nature. And so as the earth is spinning and rotating on its center, we also need our center. So what we just did was help you beautifully bring your body into center. Let's do a little bit of movement around this center now. And we'll begin by placing the hands on the hips, and we'll start with the head. We have 3 energy centers: lower dantian, middle dantian. Dantian means energy center, and upper. So we're going to just practice moving along the axis with this upper dantian. Your shoulders relax. You just kind of scan your 9 points of your feet, a little bit of weight in the heel, the bones of the legs stacking, the muscles draping nice and relaxed. This lower pelvis reaching for the earth, the spine elongating up all the way to the top of the head, and then the shoulders and arms relaxing. So what we're going to do now is just turn your chin over your shoulder. Remember to keep that slight tuck, and let your eyes just move with you as you turn over the other shoulder. You're moving on your axis. We'll do another tip video on breath, but today let's just focus on our center and moving around center. All right, come back to center. We will also move our upper and our lower dantian areas around this axis. We almost will never just move our shoulders. That's very rare. We will almost always incorporate our hips. We do have a few moves where there's a turn where we do keep our hips stable and move the shoulders. So let's just do one move that sometimes is done with the upper dantian only, and then we'll do that same move where we incorporate the lower dantian. Bring both hands in loose fists at side. Check in with your alignment. We're going to keep practicing that. 9 points of your feet, heels in the ground, legs coming up, the pelvis weighting down, spine elongating, shoulders relaxed, neck is long, chin slightly tucked, head reaching up. From this position, you're going to press one hand forward. Let's just do the shoulders as you bring the other hand back. It's a very little movement when you just move your shoulders. Your hips are forward, and you can move your head back now too. Gaze over the back hand. We do this move in Langya, in the 18 moves. Sorry, I don't want to use the Chinese term. There's a move of 18 postures, and this is one of them in the second set. Bring both hands back to your sides, and now press the other palm forward and the other hand back, just turning at the shoulders and the neck. Again, it feels very constricted, very unnatural. We don't do that very often. We want to make sure we usually bring in our lower dantian, our hips and our waist. But that's an example of just moving that middle dantian. Now we're going to move the upper, middle, and lower, rotating around this axis. Bring your hands in loose fists by your side again. We're going to keep the one hand at the waist. The other hand is going to press forward. But what's going to move it forward is we're going to rotate from the hips, then the waist, then the shoulders, and then the neck. The knees are pointing forward. We don't want to torque our knees. They only move forward and back. So when you turn your knees, it's a torque. So keep the knees forward. Let's do that. Just press the one palm forward and turn back. Now, starting from the hips, then the waist, then the shoulders, then the neck, we'll come back to center. So let's do that on the other side. So you can see you're going to press the other hand out and turn hips, waist, shoulder, neck, moving around this center. So let's do that a couple times just in a nice fluid movement. Pressing forward, and as you turn, that really moves your arm forward. Turning back to center, both hands in loose fists, and then moving the opposite direction. Coming back. Let's do one more each side just to practice connecting. Really pay attention to your feet as your base. Your head is still reaching up. You're really moving the body, just elongating the body. And then come back. Great. Wonderful. There is a little bit more rapid movement that we do frequently because it activates and opens up chi in our body. And that is called knocking on the door of life. And that is the exact same type of motion where we move from the hips and then the shoulders. Sometimes we move the head, sometimes we don't, but it's more rapid. We'll do it in slow motion, and you're going to just be moving, turning from side to side. And as you turn, you let your hands knock on the body in the front, and then it will also knock on the body in the back. You really want to let the hands hit pretty firmly. You're going to hear the slap. You're not forcing it, just kind of lands there and it hits. And this opens up chi, but notice the knees are forward, the feet are grounded, the spine is elongating. And as you turn, you're turning from the hips and the waist, and the shoulders will follow. So everything's moving. If you want to add the neck, you can look back when you come back. Check into your feet. Are they grounded on all 9 points, or are they slipping? Make sure that they feel nice and firm, a little bit of weight in the heel. Are you curving forward, or are you up and elongated? Check in with your spine and your head. Is your chin coming up? Bring it back to that slight tuck. And let's do a couple more, slowing down. And release. We'll do one more move to really bring in some spinal awareness. And this will be a side bend. Side bends are great to practice the awareness of your spine, the awareness of your hips and your legs, and keep your body safe within this proper alignment. For the side bend, let's step out a little bit wider than shoulder width. We will eventually move, as you get more skilled, you can bring the feet in. But for now, just really tune in with a little bit wider stance. So starting from your feet, 9 points of contact. The bones stacked on top of each other. That heavy pelvis moving to the earth, separating the vertebra in the spine as they lift up. The shoulders and shoulder blades and arms. Again, the bones are hanging, the muscles are draped, and the head is lifting up to the heavens. Just feel that connection. Wonderful. Now place the back of one hand on your lower back, like so. And you're going to inhale the other hand up, so it's just touching right at that knobby point at the back of your neck. tune in. Make sure you have your alignment, everything's settled. You're going to inhale, and now you're going to exhale towards the back arm. And the awareness is you don't want to come forward or back. You want the spine long and reaching over. You're not going to compress down. You don't want to go far. We want an elongation, and then just gaze down in front of the foot of the side to which you're bending. Really feel that expansion in the ribs, and check your pelvis. Make sure it's still rooting down. The tendency is to, as you bend, let the hips come back. So let it come down. All right, then come back to center and switch your arms. Reaching up, checking your feet, your spine, your tailbone. Even though this arm is lifted, that shoulder should still be relaxed. And then fold to the other side. So our spine can twist, our spine can bend and elongate. And in Qigong, we move our spine in all of these directions regularly. Let's switch. And it's safer and better for your muscles and moving your qi when you have the proper alignment through these movements. The moves will be effortless. They just feel easier. Your muscles will do incredible things, but you won't get tired or sore. It's pretty remarkable. And come back. Great. So let's just kind of do little shaking. Let go. Tune into our bones. Shake your feet out. Bounce your heels a little. All of these foundations that you're getting with your alignment when we do complicated balancing postures and more complex movements and flows, if you practice these very beginning concepts, everything will be easier. Your gong, your skill will come much more quickly, and the qi as a result will move much more effortlessly. So I hope that you've had a good practice. Let's close our time together. Inhale, just kind of come into that alignment. Inhale your hands out to the side. Bring them up and over, down and through. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhaling. Exhale. One last time. Inhale up. Exhale down. Step your feet together. Place both hands on the lower dantian, which is right by the navel and below. Close your eyes. Let your body sway. Rock and sway. Moving your qi where it needs to go. The body will just let it settle. And release your hands. Thank you for joining us here at Radiant Shanti. We'll be doing more of these beginner tips so you can feel confident and comfortable in your practice. If you have any questions, I'm going to take a moment and join the chat. And if you have to run, feel free to add a comment later if you have a question, and we'll be there for you. All right. Well, it looks like everyone is feeling confident. So feel free to send any questions later. Have a great rest of your day or evening. See you next time.